Yes, this is the 260. I'm Joe Walburn. I'm joined by the man they call the mayor of the 260, Dave Rickert, and we got Matt Brumbaugh from Spiece. And guys, what a weekend of high school basketball for our teams in the 260. 3 of the 4 made it through to semi-state, and they can call themselves regional champions. So we've got Blackhawk Christian, Bishop Dwenger. We've got Wayne, won their first regional since 1981. And Matt, for Spiece, another great weekend for you guys. A big baseball camp with a big turnout.
Yeah, great weekend. We had 61 kids out here on Saturday morning and had a softball, baseball camp. It just went tremendously. You know, the feel of the high school guys that came out here from Bishop Dwenger and from Leo and from Northrop High School, and just the interaction of the guys.
Great job with the kids.
It was unbelievable, the interaction and just the smiles on the faces of young kids learning the game and just, you know, it was exciting for us. It was our first camp that we dabbled in, and it was truly a success, and we're trying to build on that stuff.
How about going forward for Spiece? I mean, obviously the baseball camp's a big success. What do you guys have going forward with camps coming up, and how do parents reach out and get their kids signed up for those camps?
Yeah, so the camps that are going right now, volleyball camps, you know, with Randy Litchfield, who's our director of volleyball, former Ball State women's coach for many years, a great technician of the game. We've got the Youth Skills Academy, we got the Setting U, we got the Libero U, and we got Attacking U, all going on right now, March. And we're also going to go April and May with those camps.
Beautiful.
And then we have the spring break volleyball camp coming up April 3rd through the 6th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. You can go to SpieceFitness.com for more information. Click on the training camps tab, and it'll have all the information for you to register.
Now, Matt, you know what today is? Today is March the 15th. It's officially the corporate deadline. And Sonar, I officially break my chains today. I can get back in the gym. Now, if I want to get a corporate membership at Spiece, how do I go about that, Matt? Because the gym is awesome, the facilities you guys have.
Yeah, you contact us again. Come into the facility. You can get online there, SpieceFitness.com, to have our membership fees.
Sure,
and it's, you know, we've gone over that and changed some things. And again, like I said last week, we're going to make it very accommodating for people to get in here and work out with us. And while you say March 15th, I have to plug this real quick. Today is my 26th wedding anniversary to my wife. And
congratulations.
Thank you. And she's a consummate coach's wife that I think with me leaving coaching to find out that I'm here doing a podcast, she kind of thought this might be a night where we get to hang out. We'll take care of that sometime soon. But
that's what the weekend's for.
Happy anniversary to my wife at 26 years, Karen. It's I love you and appreciate all you do for me and backing me.
Well, that's a more important date than the corporate deadline there.
I thought he was going to say March 14th was my birthday.
Yeah, and actually, happy 52nd birthday to the man they call the mayor.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, congratulations. And I tell you what, it's exciting out here, Matt. Matt, I saw the youth football out here. I talked a little bit to the kids before we started the podcast, and I tell you what, man, exciting to see the youth coaches out here, the football. And I tell you what, that green turf out here for Spiece has so much potential, Dave.
Oh, from the weekend, all the parents I talked to were didn't even know it was there.
Yes.
And one particular parent wants all the camps he can get his kid into.
Absolutely.
And Matt's going to make that happen with a lot of baseball
Yeah,
clinics.
absolutely. We're gonna keep plugging sports camps. We're gonna keep pushing the envelope. But again, right now we really want to focus on the volleyball. Randy Litchfield, like I said, he is a good man that knows the game inside and out, has traveled throughout the country, you know, came back from Arizona, and now he's here running our facilities, the director of volleyball. And we're hoping to jump starts into other things in the volleyball community. I mean, right now, you know, the bottom line is we've got to have we're going to get into that volleyball possibly club at some point, but right now it's all about the skills. It's about building kids and right from the ground up and getting them into a mode of we're going to be a very good, skillful player.
Yes.
And have all the fundamentals down pat. And he's the best. I watched him out here this afternoon doing some camps, and he with about 3 or 4 kids, and he's got it down. I mean, it's really exciting to see what he can bring to the table.
I was telling Matt earlier today, I just like to know what Randy's vertical is today. That boy could jump.
Yeah, he was a tremendous athlete, and sometimes it helps when you have an athlete like that with the message, because people remember, and a lot of the parents, a lot of us remember how talented Randy was. And what's interesting when you mentioned volleyball, we've had some state championship teams. Remember, Dave, Bishop Dwenger girls
Yep.
a few years ago?
They owned the state.
Remember that state championship match? I mean, that was an unbelievable match. So
Leo's
it's exciting.
coming up.
I tell you, sometimes we think about basketball and football, but all the things out here at Spiece, Matt, whether it's volleyball, the soccer, there's so many good things are going on. And I'm just so excited because, to me, Spiece is such a beacon of the community.
Well, again, tonight you got a packed house. I
Yep.
mean, we've got volleyball going on 2 courts. We got futsal going on 3 courts, and we got football back there on the turf. And it's exciting. It's fun to watch and see where we're headed. I think we're headed, skyrocket to the
We
air,
are.
man. We're
Yes.
really, really excited. Like I said, that camp or Saturday morning was. I had a big smile on my face when it was all said and done. Because I enjoy that part of it with
Yeah, I know
the
you do.
skills and building them up. I mean,
But-
and at the end of the day, like I said, the engagement of the high school kids and helping us
We got to
build our brand.
We have Dwenger has a kid that's probably not even going to go to college. He's going to go to the show.
Unbelievable.
And I'm watching him work with these little kids, and he's got a big smile on his face, and he wants to be there. So I'm talking to his coach. I was like, it's pretty cool. He's out here with a smile on, not being dragged here, and he goes, he loves this.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. And when I was a kid, I always looked up to the guys before me who did it. So one more time, Matt, can you give us that website for Spiece one more time
Yeah,
where
it's-
parents can reach out?
Absolutely. Speecefitness.com. Again, you can go there, click on the information tab for the camps, and it'll be right on there for you. Say training camps tab, and hit all our socials. It'll be on there as well. I mean, we're on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, everything
name
you
it.
can do, we're on it. So, and we got that rolling and up, and we're getting a lot of followers right now. So we're in pretty good shape.
Well, Matt, thank you. And again, thank you to Chuck McNulty, Jack, everybody out there putting the capital in, making the hard work of Spiece, making Spiece a real beacon for the 260. And congratulations on your anniversary, brother.
Thank you. I appreciate your support, and again, it's great to be out here with you guys and getting this thing
Yes.
rolling with the 260 podcast at Spiece Fieldhouse.
And Dave, coming up next, we love our March Madness. Who better to talk March Madness with than a man who's coached and trained these kids that are playing for these teams? The one and only Jamal Howell of the Indy Heat, coming up next on the 260. Yes, we are back. This is the 260. I'm Joe Walburn. I'm riding with Steve Alford over my shoulder. Dave's riding with Larry Bird, shotgun next to him. And we have the one and only, the great Jamal Howell from the Indy Heat. And Jamal, thanks for joining us on the 260. When I think of March Madness, brother, I think of you.
My man, I appreciate you. Thanks for having me, man. It's a pleasure.
Jamal, I mean, we're going to get into like the teams. I mean, 3 regional champions. Dave's going to kind of go through that. That's been huge for us. We're excited about the semi-state games coming up. I got to ask you about Matt Painter's coaching with Purdue in the tournament. But first of all, we kind of want to start with your roots. I mean, you played for Greg Taylor over at Southside. Nobody stomped the floor like Greg Taylor.
Oh, man.
You were close and had a coach that a guy I played with, Ryan Bond. So you were very close with Bond. But tell us a little bit about coming up, being a Southside kid, and also when did you really grasp that love for basketball? And now you've kind of found your purpose with the game, haven't you?
For sure. Where my roots kind of started, man, just from birth. You know what I mean? The very first thing that my dad ever bought me, he always told me the stories. He bought me this, you know, the indoor-outdoor old-school leather basketball. So, man, I've had a love for the game, you know, since birth. So my dad kind of instilled that in me. So then from there, you know, I just kept playing. I played at Geyer Middle School.
Geyer, I went to that middle school. And you know what, though? When you stepped off the bus at Geyer, you better be able to throw some hands, right?
Hey, absolutely. Absolutely.
I was at a city championship.
You know what I mean?
I was at Shawnee in a city championship.
Yeah.
And we were beat when we walked in the gym.
I know. So you played at Geyer.
Yeah, so from Geyer, you know, back in the day, there was a feeder system, that presence,
Sure.
you know what I mean? So I always knew the Taylors. They made their presence known in the school because we were transitioning into Southside. So when I got to Southside, I had already, you know, my family had come from, you know, from Southside.
Sure. I went to school with your sister.
Yep. So I had already known all of the basketball players there. So, and you know, I just kind of fell in line.
Going through with Southside, you had a great career at Southside. Then you went on and played for Indiana Tech.
Yes, sir.
Tell us a little bit about that experience. You played for Coach Klein, correct?
Yes. So my situation was a little different coming through. In high school, and this is a unique situation for me and my training and the coaching. So in high school, you know, I was 5'9", maybe 130 pounds.
Sure.
But I could play. I was quick, and I could shoot the basketball. But, you know, from a physical standpoint, I was behind the ball.
Sure.
So I didn't play a lot as a senior, and we had 8 seniors on our team, and 6 of those kids went on to play college basketball. So
wow.
I actually walked on at Indiana Tech.
Did you really?
I've known Jason since we were kids. He ain't a big boy either.
Right,
So he probably loved you.
Absolutely. So a buddy of mine was like, hey, man, I've been over at Tech at this open gym. They still looking for dudes. So
wow.
I go over there and I play. And the first 2 guys that I played against, one was Jason Klein.
Oh, my gosh.
Yep, I played against him.
What are the odds of that, Dave?
Right. And then Coach Terry Johnson.
He's testing him.
Oh, you played with
Terry Johnson at Purdue, because Terry was
my gosh, what a name.
an assistant there. Yep.
They were testing him
Unbelievable.
Yep. So after you know, a couple of sessions of going to those open gyms, Jason Klein signed me, and I walked on over there.
Wow. So now, fast forward. So obviously, you had to scrape for everything to get what you had to have in basketball. But you also sat back and were able to really study and learn the game. It's funny. When I went and played college football at Cincinnati, I told Dave, I didn't play. I had to hold the clipboard. It was so humbling.
Coming off the National Player of the Year in JUCO.
In JUCO. I was the Player of the Year in JUCO, and I went to Cincinnati and held the clipboard. You talk about a slice of humble pie, but but I learned the game so well. That's why people are like, how do you go out and do the football games, Joe? And your situation sounds similar. So I had to sit back and I learned the game, Dave, and it was humbling. But listen to Jamal here. I think he had to fight for everything that he had to get, but it made you learn the game to where you're at now.
For sure.
When you're on the bench, you're another coach.
You don't have anything else to do
because you want to play so bad.
Right. So, and then at Indiana Tech, I'm gonna shout out 2 guys. When I first got there, and I didn't know anything about NAIA basketball.
Yeah.
And we brought in a kid that was he was the #1 junior college player in the country named Tyrus Smith.
Wow.
of Flint, Michigan. He just didn't have the grades to go high major. I still tell people to this day, he's the best player I've ever played against in my life.
That was my next question.
He was supposed to go to Iowa State over Jamal Tinsley.
Over Jamal Tinsley?
Yes,
That
Tyrus
good.
Smith
Wow.
out of Flint, Michigan. And you talking for 2 years, I'm playing behind him.
Wow.
So he is like a brother to me, and he taught me just so much about playing the off guard position. And then we brought in a transfer after him named Jawan Cooley, who had played at Eastern Michigan. So, again, I was in one of those positions.
Wow.
But I tell people this, I didn't play a lot in college either,
Yeah.
but basketball helped me get my degree. And I
Yes.
understood I wasn't going to the NBA, so it wasn't no need for me to transfer and do all of that other
You
stuff.
play as long as you can keep going
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
get your degree.
Yep. And if I didn't have basketball, I probably wouldn't have finished college.
Exactly. But think about it. Take us now. Now you're affiliated with the Indy Heat,
Yep.
and you
Yep.
deal and coach, and not only like coach and train. I have to tease you. I think you're a psychologist sometimes. I mean, you were dealing with all of these great kids,
Right,
And
for
you've
sure.
seen it. And you were a kid that had to wait your turn. You saw
Absolutely.
the great talent come in. So don't you think when you look back, my land, did it prepare you
For sure.
for what your purpose is, Jamal?
Right. For sure.
And how does that help you with the kids? You playing at Indiana Tech, and they look at that's too beneath them.
Right.
No, it's high-end basketball.
It is. It is. And I tell a lot of kids, like, man, everybody thinks they're a high major Division I player. None of them have ever even went and watched a Division I college practice. It's very demanding. But, again, playing at St. Francis, playing at Indiana Tech is still great basketball.
Well, Indiana Tech's in the national
Right.
championship right now.
Right.
They're going
And-
to play at 8 o'clock our time because
Yep.
they won last
Yep.
night.
Is that Blake Davidson?
Yep. Blake's there.
Balling over there. We see you, Blake.
And you
Indy-
also got the
Indy Heat
Lehrman kid.
alumni right there.
Andy Heat, give me some. We see you, Blake.
And you also
Yes,
got the
sir.
Lehrman kid from Dwenger.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Well,
so,
you got both Davidsons and Lehrman.
so do you think that experience, though? I mean, your name is so well respected, not only in the 260, but around the state for basketball. Do you think that journey for you kind of helped you find your purpose?
Yes. Again, man, it makes you sit back and kind of analyze the game from a different standpoint.
Sure.
When you're spending a lot of time watching. One, you still want to be involved in the game mentally because you never know when your number's going to get called. And
Yeah,
the moment
yeah.
your number's called, you better be ready to produce. Or, it's justification for coach to say, hey, man, I gave you a shot. You wasn't ready.
There's
now
the
you can
bench.
go right back to the bench. You know what I mean? So, and I was one of those dudes, like, I enjoyed watching my friends play well. You know what I mean?
And that's so key because I tell you what, it's hard to sit there. It was hard to hold the clipboard.
For sure.
But you know what? But you want to root for your dogs and your buddies,
Yes, yes.
And that's part of being a good teammate that I think sometimes, kids lose that sometimes.
Right.
And that's why I tell you, that's why you're the best at calling football games. Because from your end, being the clipboard guy,
Exactly.
you saw the game.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Now going forward, Jamal, we're going to go through some teams with Dave here.
Mm-hmm.
But how exciting it is for us in the 260.
For sure.
We knew Blackhawk. Blackhawk has the pedigree. They handled their business.
Absolutely.
How about the turnaround of Bishop Dwanger with the bigs? Ross just got after it, and we couldn't believe
Lehrman
more.
was on the boards all night long.
Oh, he was
right,
incredible,
right.
and we couldn't be more pleased with Wayne.
Absolutely.
We had Byron on last week, and he
Absolutely.
just was fantastic in his interview. And Dave, go ahead. I mean, Wayne, that's their first regional championship since the Reagan administration, the first Reagan administration, baby.
Well, obviously they're going against Kokomo. I watched that Kokomo North game. In reality, North did a pretty good job of getting
The big kid.
big boy out
Right.
because they got him in foul trouble. Wayne's going to have the best game they've ever had because I don't think the kid's going to do that again.
So
For
what do you
sure.
do, Jamal? Who do you match up on him? Is that HJ?
And by the way, he just became Gatorade Player of the Year
Yeah.
today.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Wow, how about that for some news? So, do you dare play some zone? Do you put HJ on? I mean, put your hat on, Jamal. That's why you're here. What do you
Right,
do,
right.
man, if you're coaching Wayne on Saturday against Kokomo?
This matchup here will make you get creative in some things. I think the biggest thing you're going to have to do is throw a bunch of different defensive schemes at him. Me personally, I would play behind because if he catches that ball over the top from side post position,
It's all
like
over.
he's just dunking on you. So I would play behind.
And the kid's only been playing for 3 years.
Right.
He's only been playing for 3
3
years.
He's from the Congo.
Big Flory.
That's amazing. So
Man.
where do you? I mean, I'm assuming he's being recruited by everybody, Jamal.
Everybody in the country
Yep,
wants him.
Yep, everybody's on him.
I
He's the
think
number 5 player in the country.
What I'm hearing is he's like in Kentucky.
Right.
Well, he moves well for a big kid.
yes.
And you know what? We get spoiled watching Edie at Purdue exchange ends. But when I
sure.
watched the Kokomo Wayne game, I was impressed with the kid that young and that size could exchange ends like that.
Absolutely. Plays with a phenomenal motor. The biggest thing when you watch kids that are that big and they have that much physical prowess over other kids, a lot of times you don't think they play hard. Like he's competing every single possession. He has good hands. Like you see him catch those lobs one-handed.
In 3 years, guys.
Yes.
3 years.
Yeah, it's insane. It's
But-
insane.
Back to Wayne, I'm really liking that Preston Comer.
Right.
That
Preston
kid's only a
played well.
sophomore.
And we
Preston's
talked about
played well.
him last week.
Yep,
We wrapped
yep.
up the interview with
He
Byron.
was, in my opinion, he was the MVP of that game.
For sure.
He
For
had
sure.
so many timely threes, and he can dunk like it's nothing.
Right.
and the threes, Jamal, speak about this. Wayne is so dynamic with the guards.
for
But when
sure.
Preston can step out and shoot the three,
He makes them a better ball
feel
club.
like the whole floor opens up for Chase
For
and,
sure.
and Javon.
For sure. The big thing is when you get a scouting report on Wayne, you're keying in on Javon Lewis and Chase Barnes. Like those are the first 2 names. Whatever you get from Preston and from Monty, all of that stuff is bonuses. And then you add in HJ and Zai off the bench. When they rebound
Wayne's
at a
going to
high
be
level,
dominant for years to come.
Yes.
I like Zai, man.
And
I
I
love
feel they
some
got the
Zai
best
because
coach.
that's a football kid. But when he comes off the bench, he gives so many good minutes. And Monte,
Man.
and you know what? I love Monte too. You don't hear as much about Monte, but does anybody play harder?
Does all the dirty work. You know what I mean? You
Absolutely.
need a hard-nosed guy like that. That's how you win close ball games.
Do you think that HJ or Zai or you think they can shove the big kid off the block? I mean, that's what I would try to do.
Right.
I don't know how
It's gonna be
close they're
tough.
going to ref the game, Dave. I mean, you always talk about that, Dave.
In
How
Northside
is-
game, they was watching it.
Right.
Yeah, I know,
But
and that's
he-
the thing, man.
I
How do you
actually
shove him off
watched
the block, Dave?
He was getting pretty banged up.
Was he?
Yeah,
So he goes to the ref and he goes, "Hey man, they're getting me."
Right.
And after that's when they let up on him.
To wrap up with Wayne, Jamal, talk about your relationship with Javon and Chase. When Javon hit the winning shot in the sectional championship over Homestead, he ran to you.
Right.
Talk about that. That was a beautiful thing. We get so much into the wins and losses,
For sure.
But I want to hear about that relationship that you guys have.
For sure. So I met Jay Lou, or Baby Jay as they call him, maybe about
Yeah.
2.5 years ago. And he saw all the training stuff that I was doing. So,
Sure.
he was interested in getting better. And then from there, we just kind of cultivated our relationship. And ever since then, he's allowed me and he's trusted me with my tutelage, especially with being a smaller point guard myself. And he kind of played similar to me, crafty, but he could score it from being small. So me and him kind of had a special bond from the beginning.
Yeah, you could see that. And Dave always talks about the footwork of Javon.
Right.
In any sport, I always tell the parents, it starts with the feet.
Absolutely.
Everything starts with the feet.
Yep, for sure. So just trying to get him to develop, always continue to work on that jump shot. When you're a small guy, you better be able to shoot the ball from deep.
Jamal, I'm going to somewhat skim over the Penn Hammond Central. But I want you to talk about the Penn guards. I mean, they're averaging 60 points.
Right,
They
for
got
sure.
possibly Mr. Basketball
For sure.
scoring 30 points a game.
30 points a game, Dave?
30
Yeah,
points a
In
game.
high school?
Yeah, but they 3 guard rotations.
Right.
So the other 2 are averaging 30 themselves together.
Wow.
We know we just got Gatorade Player of the Year. Who wins Mr. Basketball out of those 2? Or is there somebody else?
I mean, you always have to look at Big Xavier Booker from Cathedral. You know what I mean? Top 10
Yeah.
player in the country. But Marcus Burton,
Oh,
he's done a phenomenal job. You know what I mean? He's a tough kid.
Does he have any offers?
He's committed to Notre Dame.
So he is
Oh,
going.
Notre Dame.
He's a Notre
He's
Dame
committed
kid.
to Notre Dame.
what makes his game different than everybody else, Jamal?
Man, you talking? He's 5'8", 5'9". Plays above the rim. He is lightning quick. He's lightning quick. He can shoot the basketball. Doesn't
If he
mind
wants the
being
ball,
physical.
he's getting the ball.
Doesn't mind being physical. When he gets in that lane, he's looking to get contact. So when you're a small guard, and I'll go back to Chase as well, because those are some of the things we're
Yes.
working on. So when you're a small guard, you got to learn to live on the floor. You know what I mean? I tell kids, you see all of the kids today wearing those arm sleeves,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
And I ask them, do you know who started wearing those? And they're like, nah, not really. And I'm like, Allen Iverson wore them.
Yeah.
And he had to because he put the pads on the elbow because he lived on the floor. You're talking about a 6-foot
Wow.
guard
Yep.
at 170 pounds dominate the NBA. You know, he's getting put on his butt almost every other play. His elbows are banged up. So,
Wow.
but also with Chase, so Chase is like my nephew. So me and his dad grew up together, met him when I got to Southside. So I've been training Chase since he was like in the 7th grade. So
Oh, he's fantastic.
he is we've talked about Marcus Burton a lot, and Chase really likes him because Marcus Burton used to play for Indy Heat. And then he
Did he?
kind of,
Wow.
yeah, then he transitioned on and played
So,
with
I mean,
Matt Burton
obviously,
Fire.
we want Wayne to win.
Yeah.
I pray they do, but I think it's going to be Kokomo and Penn, and we're going to have the two great players.
Yeah.
Going
that could
at it.
decide Mr. Basketball right there.
That's
It
like the
could.
old days of Sean Kemp against
Well, I tell you
Chandler
what.
Thompson.
Buy your popcorn and get up to Michigan City for that 4A
Yeah, you know I'm
semi-state,
rocking-
bro.
you know I'm
You gotta
rolling
rock.
with the generals,
We gotta roll
baby.
up there with the 2-6-0 and watch that. Now, Dave, take us through 3A. Those Dwenger bigs. Ross was dominant. Dave, can they play with, maybe the number 1 team in 3A in Northwood?
Well, Northwood and that Cade Brenner for them, the kid's a stud. Dwayner's going to have to duplicate what they did last week at an inferior team. Now, they can possibly do that, but they're going to have to stop that Cade Brenner. And, I mean, he is lightning fast.
Right.
And he's going to Huntington, right?
Going to be playing for his son.
There you go, playing for Steve's son. So I feel like if Dwenger could slay the beast, I know it's a big if. I love Dwenger. I love Sam Campbell. I love the bigs. I saw him against Northside, and I felt like Dwenger hadn't played their best basketball yet,
Sure.
and it's all clicked. But I'm telling you what,
My analogy I give last week is
you
right
nailed
here.
it. You nailed it. Dwenger always plays good at the end. But Jamal, if Dwenger could just slay that beast with Northwood,
Man.
they could possibly win the whole state tournament.
You talking a team that turned that thing around. Like, I watched Dwenger early in the year,
Oh.
like in November. And I was like, whoo, this is a down year for Dwenger.
Yeah,
And you
yeah.
talking about at the end of the year to turn that thing around and play your best basketball at the end of the year, like they've done a phenomenal job. So kudos to that coaching staff over there.
They're 13-13. Northwood is 25-2.
I know. So we gotta
right.
hope. We gotta hope Dwenger.
And what-
We gotta
one of
hope those bigs. I tell you what, I'd make it half court. I wouldn't worry about the shot clock. I'd burn my timeouts. I'd try to shorten the game, and I'd go big. But it'll be interesting. Let's talk about Blackhawk Christian, Dave. You talk about the program in the 260
Absolutely.
for basketball. We all stand back and think of Blackhawk Christian.
I had an old coach come into my office it was last week, and he's a Blackhawk guy. And I go, "They gonna do it again?" He goes, "As long as they don't get bored." That's the thing. Goes,
Wow, don't
sure.
get bored, huh?
Yeah, because he said they are so good, and they know they're good, and they'll put up, get up 20 on a team, and then they're not putting out max effort.
What's your thoughts on Blackhawk, Jamal?
Love Blackhawk, man. Kellen Pickett is he's going to be with our 16U EYBL team this summer. He's just done a phenomenal job over there, man.
It's great-
Always want
great hire.
to say rest in peace to Coach Davison, man. It was
Yeah, God
really,
bless him. You know what?
really good dude.
Great dude, yeah. Yeah.
So, man, again, and Matt Roth has done an excellent
He
job over
has.
there, man. It's going to be tough to beat them in that class.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It is. It is. I tell you
I
what.
would be shocked if they lose.
Right.
Yeah, I tell you what, get out to little semi-state games on Saturday. We want to support our great teams in the 260, and now let's transition over to the March Madness, the NCAA tournament. I'm going to ask you about your boy.
Oh, man, come on. Let's go.
Let's go. Purdue, tremendous talent, tremendous development of kids. I got to be honest, sometimes the in-game coaching, but is this the year? And let me ask you this on top of that. When they break this press or figure this press out, can they make teams pay for pressing them? What would you do?
And why has it taken so long for them to figure out breaking the press?
Well, they struggled in the Big Ten tournament. They won the Big Ten tournament, and hats off. I love
Right,
Purdue.
right.
It's
I love Purdue back when they had Troy Lewis Everett Stevens, and Todd Mitchell. And what's interesting, that team got beat in 88. You know who they played the first two teams in the first round of the tournament that year, first and second round? Farley Dickinson, and they played Memphis. Look at the bracket, man. It's funny how history repeats. But Jamal,
right, for sure.
what do you do if you're Coach Painter? How do you deal with these issues with the pressure? And if Jamal Howell is coaching Purdue, what are you thinking about heading into this NCAA tournament?
Man, I think they've done an excellent job this year. I mean, they have a young backcourt, very, very young.
And you also got the freshman wall with those two guards.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not used to playing that many games. Every kid hits the freshman wall.
For sure. And Fletcher Lawyer, that's my guy. You know what I mean?
So
Another
tough.
Indy Heat alumni. Again, man, they just have to grow up overnight. You know, the tournament is all about matchups, and it's about who's playing the best basketball. So
How far do you think they'll go?
I'm writing it down, man. You're on the spot.
Purdue gets to the Elite Eight. Elite Eight, and then after the Elite Eight,
Yeah, it's anybody's
It's
game.
You know
anybody's
what?
game
You
after
know
that.
what? I'm saying Final Four because you know what? I think they're going to
I got
figure
him.
the press out.
Yeah,
I
for
think
sure.
Gillis. I think Gillis is going to play bigger, and
His dad was a beast
And-
at Ball State.
and Jamal. Correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like the NCAA tournament is all guard play, but
It
it's
is.
also a lot of half court play because you can play to the TV timeouts.
for sure. And if Fletcher Lawyer is making shots,
He gets back
hey, man,
to the
they
beginning
get
of the year.
they get to the national championship.
Okay, now I got to ask you. Ben Johnson, head coach of Northside, and all your boys.
Oh,
they
my
said, Joe, the
gosh,
first
man.
thing you ask him, man, is what happened to his
See-
North Carolina Tar
See,
Heels?
This is what we're doing. First day on the podcast, I got to deal with this stuff. Man, first off, special shout out to Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson, that's my little cousin, my blood relative. So he's doing a phenomenal job with changing the culture over there. So
If I
just
could
want
say
to shine
something
some light
about-
on that as well.
If I could jump in and say something about Ben real quick, Dave. I've never seen a high school coach care more for his kids.
For
when
sure,
Jordan
for
King,
sure.
when Jordan King committed this week to Purdue, he put on Twitter, "You did what you had to do. I did what I had to do." I think it's a beautiful thing. Ben's working as hard as he can,
Yep.
and Ben has also captured the magic of social media. And
for sure.
and Ben, if Ben wasn't coaching high school football, I'd hire Ben in the company, and he would do all my marketing. Ben is a marketing genius.
Yes. So to shine some light on, man, my family is from North Carolina, so I was born a Tar Heel. You know what I mean? My oldest sister was actually born in Carolina, but I was born in Fort Wayne. But
Gotcha.
You're
This
the
is-
good one.
this is the fan in me speaking. It's a bad look when you go from number one
Exactly.
to not making the tournament. We got to do a better job, man.
Yeah. Okay. Now,
We'll get it turned around.
now let's pivot to Dave and I's Hoosiers, Indiana. I tell
sure.
you what, when the draw came out, Dave,
Not
I did
my
not-
Hoosiers. huh?
not your Hoosiers. Okay, I guess I'll take credit. It's my Hoosiers.
For
when,
sure.
When the draw came
My
out,
Hoosiers a long time ago.
when the draw came out, I said, "Ooh, Kent State. That's the last team
Tough
we wanted to
matchup.
play."
Right,
Now, for now for entertainment purposes, I think Kent State plus the 5 is all day long. I think if IU can get through Kent State, which I'm not sure we can, Kent State is a phenomenal basketball team. I think the bracket could open up for the Hoosiers, but you know guards. Talk about the freshman guard,
Man.
Spino Hood, how key he is. Obviously, we know how great Trace Jackson Davis is. I've never
sure.
seen a kid in Trace Jackson Davis who could get up off the floor so quick multiple times. But I think it comes down to Hood, the guard play.
For
Once-
sure.
Once
How
again,
key is that, Jamal?
before he goes, that's the same thing with Lawyer and the other guard for
Well,
Purdue.
the tournament's guard play.
Right.
They're
For
the
sure.
highs and lows of these freshmen.
absolutely.
You don't know what you're getting.
Right. So just to give another quick shout out, you know what I mean? Trace Jackson Davis, that's another Indy Heat alum.
How do you
So
like
is-
that,
So
man?
is CJ Gunn at IU. Freshman there. He's not playing a lot of minutes, but
Yeah.
he'll be a great player for them in the years to come. But, man, like we had the opportunity to coach against Hood Shafino in the summer.
Yeah.
He played with Team Thad, another Nike EYBL team.
Yeah.
I tell a lot of people he kind of played the wing in the summertime, and then he transitioned into
Good
the
point.
point guard spot. This tournament is won with the guard play. You know what I mean? He's done an excellent job of running that team, especially with the loss of their emotional leader Xavier Johnson. Again, you go as far as your guards. You got to get some shot making from the wings, and Trace has to be Trace.
And, Matt Brumbaugh, he's a big-time IU fan. there's got to be a want from these kids. They got to
Absolutely.
want this.
You
And
gotta want it.
There's a lack of that in a lot of games.
I'm telling you what,
You go on that 3-game slide they did. How?
it is feast or famine. They are 40-1 dogs to win the tournament. I'm telling you,
sure.
if they could get through Kent State and Hood Schifino gets hot,
He's-
I mean, IU could
when he's
be,
hot, they can't stop
IU.
him.
It's so funny the NCAA tournament because I could see IU being gone after the first game,
For sure.
or I could see IU making a run to Final Four. I think
Kent
Purdue's
State's
a
going
little.
to be a tough game.
I did 2 brackets, and I did exactly that.
That's
one
exactly-
in, one out.
I think IU wins a close one in that one. I don't think they roll over Kent State, but I think they win that game. I think Kent State will give it their all. I just think it's too much.
Who else are you looking at? I'm gonna tell you a team I like to possibly win the tournament. Gonzaga. I think Gonzaga was so disappointed last year. They're under the radar right now.
Yeah,
There's
they always
when you
are.
fill your bracket out, Jamal, nobody knows more about hoops. And you've coached a lot of these
Yeah,
kids.
yeah, for sure.
What teams are you kind of zeroing in on that you think have a legitimate chance to cut down the nets?
I look at the teams that have star power at that guard position. Not a huge Gonzaga guy. They let me down a lot when we're
Yeah.
filling out these brackets, and they're going to run into TCU. TCU has excellent guard play, man.
I'm not a
They're
fan of the West
tough.
Coast at all. You
They're
know,
going to be
Pac-12.
tough. Right. Texas
every
is
year
another
you
team.
think one of the teams.
Mhm.
Oh, they're so good. Get in the tournament, they do nothing
Right.
because they can't do our play.
Right.
Yeah,
Until you run into Baylor, baby. Somebody that teaches them guards.
it's the guards.
All over the floor. You know what I mean?
I'm liking Alabama.
Alabama's another one. Alabama's
but
another
it's so
one.
many threes. What if you go cold one night, Dave?
Right, for
Yeah.
sure. And that's some of the, you live by the 3,
Die by 3.
Yep. But
Well,
I
I'm
do. I
hoping-
like TCU. I like Texas. Marquette is tough. Again, you can't count out the Hoosiers. Can't count out Purdue. Purdue has won some big games. They're battle tested.
One bracket I got them winning it. The other bracket I got Bama
so,
beating them.
Again, man, that's why it's called March Madness.
Yep.
Let the madness happen.
But here you are in March Madness. I'm going to go pick up my boys and eat chicken wings and watch basketball. What's it like for Jamal Howell to go from game to game and know you either helped coach that kid or you coached against that kid?
For
What's
sure.
it like to watch all those games and have those relationships?
And who was your first big one?
First big name.
Yep.
First big name or first pro?
First pro.
Whatever you feel.
First pro was Yogi Ferrell.
Yogi Ferrell was tough.
First pro
man.
was Yogi
Wow.
Ferrell.
I loved him, man.
First big name was Rayfield Davis.
Yeah.
Yep. So
Yeah,
started with Rayfield when he was in the 7th grade. He played for a team.
Another Southside kid.
Southside.
Yep, absolutely. So I coached, me and a buddy of mine, Jared Quarles, coached with Joe Jordan had a program back in the day called SAC, and Rayfield was that first kid that we had.
Here's a funny little thing. You both played for Greg Taylor.
Uh-huh.
My brother's here from the Michigan area, and Brumball both played for Greg Taylor at Northrop High School.
Right.
So
As we wrap up with you, Jamal, we're going to do a rapid fire round.
Okay.
In these last 3 minutes, we got some questions and just want quick answers. First of all, when you're working out at Speed, or you're breaking down tape, what are you listening to right now, music-wise?
Music-wise, I'm a golden era hip hop guy, so I might have some Nas on. Really like
Beautiful,
Nas
beautiful.
or Jay-Z.
Yeah.
I know you're a busy man, but are you a Netflix fan?
Yes.
What are you watching?
I just finished. I think it's pronounced the Murdaugh.
Madoff?
Bertie Madoff?
No, not Madoff. The Murdaugh. It was like a little murder series.
Oh,
the
yeah, I know
guy
what you're
had
talking
killed,
about. Was
killed
that
his
good?
family. Yeah. Oh, it's excellent.
That's
I'm a documentary type of dude, so I'm always watching that
Have
stuff.
you watched Narcos?
Oh yeah.
I
watch
just
Narcos.
finished
Yeah.
both of them.
Okay.
And I'm a financial guy. Watch Madoff.
Yeah, for sure.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
Now, you've got so much going on. You know, you found your purpose,
Mm-hmm.
done so much for kids in the 260 around the state. When basketball season ends, where do you
It
go?
doesn't end. It doesn't end.
I guess,
He's
it
right
does. I guess
going.
it's year round now, but do
Yeah.
you have a point? Dave's right. I guess it never ends.
Year
But do you-
round.
Do you ever have a point where you have a chance to kind of recharge? And if you do recharge, where do you go and what do you do?
When I read, the gym, my gym time, personal gym time, that's where I met Joe at.
Just see yourself.
So that's my time to recharge, is getting in there and get a workout in. But I also like to just be around my family. So I'm a real big family guy. So we always do family dinners and everything. So once I can kind of get around my cousins and my aunties, that's always an opportunity to kind of recharge.
Here's one for
the
you.
spirit a little bit.
What is your favorite restaurant in town?
Favorite restaurant? Ooh, I got a bunch of them.
Go.
Love Black Canyon.
Yeah, Black Canyon.
Black Canyon is real good. Love Hideout. Hideout. You know what I
That's
mean?
a
Shout
Hideout is underrated, man.
Man,
Brumbo
shout
loves
out
that
to my
place.
guy Sherman Bell.
Yeah, that
Sherman,
place is
man.
underrated.
Yep, love Hideout, man. You know, those some of the places that I go.
Favorite
You know what I mean?
Mexican?
Favorite Mexican? Ooh, Los Lamos.
Wow.
Yeah, good
Yep.
place. Now, to wrap it up, man, and this could be any moment. What was the biggest moment, the moment you remember the most in sports for you? And it can
For
be
you.
anything, whether you're coaching or playing, because you've had so many different experiences. But
Right.
what is the one moment that when Jamal Howell lays his head down at night in the pillow, he thinks of?
One of the moments is, as a player, I have two of them. One of the moments is, speaking of Indiana Tech, you know what I mean? Hope those guys win that thing.
Yes.
Yes, baby.
Be great for the city.
being-
The 260.
Yeah, yeah.
260.
But being on that first team to ever win a conference title.
Wow.
And
Wow.
listen to Dan Klein and Jason Klein say that was one of the best teams to ever come through Indiana Tech. So first year we won the national title, and then we lost in the Elite Eight that year in the national tournament.
Are you still in contact with Jason?
Yep, still talk to Jason. And I
He's
coach
down in
with Dan.
Missouri.
Right. So speaking of Dan, that brings me to my next special moment. And it happened in this building. So we were recruiting, and we're going after Jaren Jackson Jr. with the Memphis Grizzlies right now. And so
Wow.
we bring him in, and we have a meeting. So Todd Hensley, who runs Gym Rats, Dan Klein, myself, and Jared Quarles. We have a meeting with Jaren and his family down in the fitness center at a table. And this is like one of my welcome to the grassroots basketball moments. And you listen to a lot of NBA players say this. And we asked Jaren, like, why do you want to play in the EYBL? And he pulls out a sheet of paper. And he was like, because the country has said all of these kids are better than me, and they all play in the EYBL.
Wow.
He said, and I'm coming to show everybody
He was
that I'm the
prepared.
best kid in the country. And we watched a kid in 3 months go from being ranked outside the top 80 to the top 3.
Wow. What
So
a
just a
journey.
maturation process.
Well
like-
prepared kid right there.
Yeah.
Jamal, thank you so much for sharing
Absolutely.
your journey.
Absolutely,
The
man.
260
Pleasure,
is
man.
blessed,
Yeah,
brother.
I appreciate you guys having me. Appreciate you
260
guys
is
having
blessed
me.
to have you. And I tell you what, Dave, the name Jamal Howell will always be spoken with pride in the 260. And coming up, another name, a name that everybody knows in the 260.
Most beloved man there is.
Officer Payne.
James
coming
Payne,
up next.
that's my guy.
That's right. James
Yep.
Payne's up next on the 260. Yes, we are back. This is the 260. I'm Joe Walbert. I'm joined by the man they call the mayor of the 260, Dave Rickert. And we are so pleased to be joined by the one and only, I would argue, maybe possibly the most likable person in the 260.
Hands down.
Officer James Payne. And James, it is a pleasure to have you on the 260. The 260 is all about what we want to do with our show is bring people from the community on and talk about their journeys and their experiences.
Their life story.
And life stories. And as what Dave always preaches to me, what have they given back to the 260? Nobody has given more to the 260 than you. Thanks for joining us, James.
Oh, my pleasure. I thank y'all for having me. I really am happy to be here.
Murray, Kentucky, a place south of Paducah, about 20 minutes to Tennessee,
Yes.
in the heart of Kentucky.
Yes.
You grew up there, 5 siblings. What was it like to grow up in Murray, Kentucky?
A wonderful, wonderful experience. I would not change it for the world. My brothers and sisters, we fought and we're very competitive, but we fought and loved each other. And that's one thing we had and our family preached was love. And we grew up in a very diverse community.
Yes.
So that was a blessing in itself because I learned so much about people and love.
Yeah.
And that's what we show in Murray. And Murray is just a great place. That's my home. The 260 is where I'm at now.
Yes.
But Murray is my home. And
I was talking to him this past weekend, and he was just, you could hear the joy of him being home.
yeah.
And
Yes.
and correct me if I'm wrong, they honored you in Murray a few years back. I saw a beautiful picture of you, your mother, some siblings, a nephew, and they are so stinking proud of you. And Murray only has about 20,000 people in it, if I'm correct, James, maybe 20, 25,000. It was beautiful. They brought you back because you had made such an impact in Murray, but they were so proud of you. What did that moment mean to you to come back as a hometown hero in Murray, Kentucky?
Oh, it meant the world to me. And keep in mind, Fort Wayne taught me so much. This city has been good to me. Being a police officer during the riot situation was
Yes.
one that was amazing. And shout out to
You kept the peace.
all the Fort Wayne Police Department because we worked together and brought that to a solution by the grace of God. And once again, when that gentleman approached me and talked about, James, what is it that you would have to say to the people of Fort Wayne?
Yes.
And I said, Fort Wayne is the city of churches and sports.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's just keep it that way and let's make it happen.
We
And
really
like it
never had a
happened.
problem in this town, ever.
No.
But it's men like you that step up, that are leaders that people respect, man. And back to Murray, talk about Mark Brady. We've all talked about great youth coaches or high school coaches that reached us. You're playing down there. You're an all-state player. Talk about the relationship with Mark Brady and what his coaching meant to you, James.
Oh, it was amazing. Coach Brady, he taught me, first of all, about character. What are you doing when I'm not looking?
Yeah.
As well as Coach Tony Franklin,
Yeah.
Coach Rick Fisher. The list goes on and on. The coaches that taught me in high school and middle school, they made us work hard. However, they taught it with love, and they were father figures. They were not
They want the
afraid
best
to
for
talk
you.
to you. Yes. And still to this day, I keep in contact with those gentlemen, and they are a big part of my life.
Wow, that's impressive. Now, going forward, you're a star down at Murray, Kentucky. It's time to play college ball. Here comes the University of Louisville. And they have the legendary coach, Howard Schellenberger, who took the Miami University, to their first national championship. And Howard Schellenberger was Nick Saban before Nick Saban. What was that like, man? Here you are playing in Murray, Kentucky, and all of a sudden, man, here comes Howard Schellenberger recruiting you, brother.
Ooh, you talking about somebody that was sweating. He didn't leave a pipe like he did for those big Miami players, but
Yeah.
when he came and his presence was there, he had me. I mean, legendary coach, God rest his soul. he just taught me so much about being a man. He really did. He cared about his players. He wanted his players to be able to go home during the break, have an intelligent conversation with mom and dad, and be productive citizens in society once they finish.
Wow.
So with him, he always kept in contact with me. We via text or some type of social media. And, I miss him. He taught me so much. He was like a second father. Of course, James Elroy Payne Sr.'s. That's the man. That was the man.
That was the man.
And
for you, yeah. God bless your father.
Yes, thank you.
Was Coach Schellenberger a coach that you could? Because I played for some coaches. You could walk into his office.
Well, that's what it sounds like he was.
Yeah,
Yes.
you could walk in his office and talk to him. Was he a coach like that?
Absolutely. To be honest with you, in 1996, Murray High, I was one of the assistant coaches for the high school, and we went to the state championship and played Beechwood. I called him and let him know. I said, Coach, I'm going to be in town. He goes, what are you doing? I said, I'm coaching. He goes, coaching what? So he's just a character like that. So he came to the hotel, met our coaching staff.
Wow.
And that's him. He was a father figure to every player that played around him, and that's what I love and I'm gonna miss about him.
So he's not Urban Meyer.
I like what I love about Dave. Now we're going to ask Ben. We love Ben Boquist with multi-format sonar. We're going to see if we can put the picture up of you and all your boys that you played with in college. But talk about the guys you played with. Look at that, man.
Oh my goodness, that's the
Dave.
crew.
That is the crew. Now I think I see Jeff Brom in there.
Yes, sir. Jeff Brown
Take
on the
us
left hand
through it.
side. Wow. Well, you got in the front row. You got Darius Watson in the yellow shirt. Played professional football. Have to the left of him is Aaron. To my left, to the right, Aaron Bailey,
Yes.
who played for the Colts.
Yes.
On the other side is Leonard Ray.
Oh yeah.
Just an amazing ball player. Then you have Anthony Saunier and Kevin Gaines and Ben Sumter, Vince Dewberry, Garen Patrick, Jim Hanna, Kevin Cook, Jeff Brom,
Yes.
Tom Carroll, Ralph Dawkins.
Ralph Dawkins was a baller.
Yes, he was. And his brother, Agent Zero, was amazing as well. Greg Minnis, Mike Neely, and oh my goodness, I can't see the big fella over there, but yes.
But how?
Yes,
Are you still in contact with those guys? And is that a brotherhood that never goes away?
it is. It is. I just spoke with Aaron Bailey last week, and we had talked a little bit and text each other every now and again. Once you have a band of brothers like that, it's amazing, and it's just the love that you have for each other. And we went through the battles together and yelled at each other, fought with each other in the locker rooms, but at the end of the day, we're brothers and we loved one another.
Wrapping up Louisville, who was the best player you played against in college?
Oh my goodness.
Mine was Marvin Harrison. He played for Syracuse, now he's in
Yes.
Cincinnati.
Wow. Well, there's this legendary gentleman who, number 4, played at Southern Mississippi.
Mr. Brett Favre.
Brett Favre.
Yes,
Brett Favre.
we were undefeated, and we went into Southern Mississippi. We were winning 7-3. Joe Johnson had Brett Favre by the shoulder pad, and he stood up and released a dime to his wide receiver in the end zone and beat us with 3 seconds left in the game. Oh, it was amazing. And Coach Schellenberger said, Brett Favre is good. Yes.
Going forward, you finish up Louisville. How did you make your way up to the 260? And then how did you ultimately make the commitment to join the force?
Okay. Archie Lundsey was a city councilman, God rest his soul, and he asked me if I heard of Fort Wayne, Indiana, and I said, not really. I've heard of Terre Haute, and I've heard of Indy, and but he brought me up here with Coach John Archery, etc., and Carlton Mabel to play football for the River City Rhinos.
Correct.
And met this gentleman right here with my quarterback. But anyway, we'll talk about that. But we had a good time, and after that, I joined. I worked for Child Protective Services for a little bit.
Was it hard taking the pads off, though?
Oh,
That
yes.
was difficult for me.
Yes.
You know what was difficult, Dave? I didn't miss playing. I didn't miss being beaten up. It actually took 6 months for my hands to feel better. You know what I missed? I missed the fellas
Camaraderie.
in
Yes.
the locker room.
Yes.
I missed it so bad. Was that how it was for you?
Absolutely. I mean, to come here and find again the Corey Johnsons, the Mike Woodses, the Tony Browers,
ballers.
all those guys that were just the 260 all day long. To stop playing and not see those guys on the field was very, very, very hard. Charles Dempsey, etc. And I know I'm just going all South Side, but those are guys.
Go ahead. We love
Right.
I'm the South Side kid.
Absolutely, baby.
Didn't know that.
So that
And,
was difficult, but you got to the
yeah.
point to where, like Dave always says, Dave always tells me each day, Joe, what's your purpose?
Yeah.
So it's almost
And,
like you had to find your purpose then.
I did, and then by the grace of God, he touched me, and a friend of mine had said, James, why don't you try out for the police department? And I'm like, coming from the South, I was like, the police? Well, okay, well, I'll see what happens. I was able to be accepted into the Fort Wayne Police Academy, and from day one, the staff at the academy, they were amazing, and they showed me so much more about being a police officer. People have their impressions of police. However, you are your own person, and you bring a quality to this world. God gives everybody the ability to do something special, and you can do that still being a police officer, and I just embrace that and happy about it.
20 years later.
20 years later.
I'm going to say something a little bit controversial.
Okay.
You are probably the most likable person in the 260. Dave always schools me in politics. We talk politics a lot. A lot of people don't know that. Dave always talks about, Joe, for a politician to break through, they must have likability. I was out watching you ref the Homestead Columbia City game. I'm out in Whitley, okay?
Yes,
You're
sir.
reffing the game. Whitley's down about 20 points. All I hear in the stands are how much those people love you and stories about you.
It's everywhere he goes.
Everywhere you go, I'm telling you, this is going to be a little controversial. This will probably get a few retweets. These politicians that we have in this area, and I'm no fan of politicians, they all would die for your likability. You have the ability with your likability, you could be the congressman. And you know what?
There's the open seat.
I tell you what, there's an open seat. These politicians are always running for the next job, okay? And I see your sweethearts over there laughing. These politicians always run for the next job. Brother, I'm telling you, man, they don't have the likability that you have. I could run you as a third-party candidate. Tell them, Dave, as an independent, and you could be Congressman Payne. And you know what you could say? Congressman Payne. I'm going to bring the pain to Washington, D.C. I got to thank Sonar. That was from Sonar, a multi-format. But really, we need good men in politics. You're a good man. And your likability is something that crosses over all the 260. I don't want to get your head too big, because I know I used to have to fit into a football helmet. But you know what? If you wanted to, you would win. You could be the next congressman.
He'd have
if
my
you
vote.
wanted to.
Oh, my God. Me in politics,
Because you know why? Because you're an outsider. But that's what people crave. You're honest. You tell the truth.
yes.
And what I love, too, about, like, your work over at Lakeside and what Dave and I talked about, you always talk about prevention.
Yes.
You don't want to be that officer that just shows up
No.
when it's all over with.
Right.
You've dedicated your life to prevention. And I know that the saying you could be the next congressman, I'm telling you, you could.
Wow.
And those are the people we need in the 260 as leaders. So that's going to probably get out a few tweets and this and that. But I love it, man. Congressman Payne, Dave.
It has a ring.
Well, I tell you, I'm honored that you think that. I love you guys, but Lord, have mercy. That'd take some strong prayer.
Strong player, man.
Yes, sir.
I want to head over to officiating.
I'm sorry?
I want to head over to
Yes, sir.
officiating.
Yes.
So, how did you get into it?
Danny Nolan, as well as Judd Raver, and a couple of other gentlemen had asked me if I was interested in being an official once I completed playing. And initially I was like, oh, okay. And I thought about it. I can be at the game. I got the best seat in the house. And I can
And stay in shape.
understand too. And also, I feel as though God called me to work with kids and work with people. And I want every person that I come in contact with to know that whatever they're reaching for, they can go get.
I like your
It's all
slogan.
possible.
There's rules in athletics, just like life.
Absolutely, absolutely. And every player that I've come in contact with, from Bernard Pollard on and all the guys, and I tell them, go for it, go get it. It's yours to go get, and I feel like that would
Well,
be
you
my
did-
testimony.
We was talking the other day, and you told the Ross kid at Dwenger,
Yes,
come on.
come
you
on,
can
get
do this."
busy. Yes, and
And look what he had, a heck of a game.
yes, yes.
Heck of a game.
And that's what I want kids. I mean, I try to encourage them because you're not promised tomorrow, and not everybody's given the athletic ability that a lot of these kids have. You know?
A good friend of mine is Brian Bollinger. He's an NFL ref.
Yes,
You know him.
yes,
And I asked him, I go, he started right when he got out of college. I go, why? Why do you want to be a ref? He goes, I miss the grass. I miss the lights.
yes. There's nothing like coming to a high school game, smelling the popcorn, remembering as a high school player, and then seeing the fans and coming out of the tunnel and adjusting your pads and just, you feel this feeling of just, oh, this is on. As a referee, you feel the same way. And then on top of that, you get the luxury of teaching kids how to play the game the right way and encouraging them not to be scared, telling the guy, hey, don't bow down to him.
Yep.
He puts his pants on just like you do. Go get it.
Masculinity,
That's it.
controlled masculinity.
Yes.
And I agree. And it's funny, we're getting older.
Yeah.
But each fall, that's that cut of that grass. And I
Yes.
drive by those schools and I hear
We're
that.
running out of grass.
Yes.
I mean, it all comes right back, doesn't it, man?
Yes, it
And
does.
It's just like the lessons you learn,
Yes.
the discipline, the toughness. I had a coach one time. He says, Walburn, you know why we huddle up each time? Well, of course, to get the play and then call the play. He says, no, you idiot. The point of huddling up every time is it's about life. Football's about life. You get knocked down, you got to get back up and get in the huddle and play for the next play. And that's how life is. You got to get back up the next day
Yes.
and play for life. And that's why, man, we love you so much in the 260, man, because your positivity, man. It's a message, and you live that message.
Yes.
The first time I ever met James, my oldest son, who is now 30, he pitched in college also, but he's a Woodland kid. It might have been a travel baseball, but it was down at Indiana Tech. And James is behind the plate, and he's going like this. Come on, big fella. You're right there. You're right there.
Yes.
You work with the kids.
Exactly.
And then my youngest, who's just finished up playing, you was doing his college games at
Yes.
St. Francis.
Absolutely, and that's what I love. No one comes to a baseball game to see walks. You
No.
know,
That's right.
Everybody wants to see. Everybody wants to see the ball hit. So I tell these kids, hey, swing that bat,
Yep.
because you're gonna get a pitch, and if you don't get it,
Be ready.
yeah, be ready.
So you've done 6 state championship games in baseball.
Yes, sir.
But what is your favorite? Out of all 3, what is your favorite?
Nothing like football. Nothing like football.
Let's go.
Yeah, it's just
I see you. Let's go.
Yes,
I usually go down there wrestling.
Yes.
I'm usually up in the booth. I
Yes.
see you, Jay.
Oh, I tell you, I tell a kid, I'm like looking, and I'm looking at the guard, and his foot's back. I'm like, he's leaving. He's got his foot back for a reason. I'm thinking to myself, like, oh my goodness. And lo and behold, there he's pulling. Here he comes. I'm like,
You still read that?
Yes,
don't you?
still
Isn't that
looking.
funny?
It's still
those disciplines you learn.
Yes.
You watch the game or you ref the game, and you still see it, don't you?
absolutely. And I love it.
Yeah,
love it.
That's fantastic, man. You know,
Are you doing any games this weekend?
Yes, sir. I have the 3A game at noon, so I'll have Northwood and Dwenger.
oh, you got the Northwood and Dwenger game.
Yes.
Wow.
That's
now I'm
what
gonna
I was-
tell you. We were talking on here. Northwood is the team to beat in 3A. Dwenger's huge, though. I
Yes.
think, James, whoever wins that game
It's state champ.
is going to be your state champion. in
Absolutely.
3A.
Absolutely.
Wow, what a great get
and,
for a game.
and both coaches are so amazing. I love Matt, love the coach from Northwood, and I just want both of them. My pregame conference is going to be, go get it, go get it.
Have you done a Northwood game this year?
I have not done a
Or
Northwood
last year.
game. Actually, no, but the last
'Cause
time
they
I
got
did
a heck of a
Northwood,
player, Cade Brenner.
okay. Last time it's the funny thing is the last time I had this game about 8 to 10 years ago at Blackford, and Fia Cable in his class beat Northwood,
Wow.
and went to semi-state.
Wow.
And it was amazing. And
So
those guys
Winner has a hope.
That's fantastic.
So yes,
the journey from Murray, Kentucky, to the 260,
yeah,
to joining the police department, to officiating. Has James Payne found his purpose in life?
yes. And my purpose in life is to touch the lives of others and make them know that God has a purpose for them. They're here for a reason. God has got people here for a reason. And it is to take care of business, preach his word, and love each other.
That's absolutely beautiful. And looking back, what would be the advice you would give a young James Payne or the kids you mentor in the 260? What's some of the message that you give? Because times have changed so much, brother.
Yes.
I mean, we're getting older, man.
Yes.
Time moves on. Has that message changed the last 20 years, or is it a different way you have to deliver it? How does James Payne now reach James Payne when he was 18 years old?
I tell James Payne, don't be lazy. Take advantage of every opportunity, every second of the day, and work at your craft. And not only that, give God the glory for the information and the ability and wisdom he's giving you. Use it to your advantage and take care of business and go get it.
It's an absolute beautiful message, Dave.
There's one thing we didn't even speak about with James so far, and that's the lack of refs in the state of Indiana.
Yeah, we got
Yes.
to get that out, man.
Yes.
What do we got to do?
All you have to do is go to ihsaa.org and become a ref. And if you need any assistance, feel free to reach out to me through the police department, email, or whatever.
Sure.
We will help you get your license. We have some great officials in the area, and we got some guys that no longer play but want to be a part of the game.
Yes.
Come and make some income and have a great time. You meet great people, and the fraternity is amazing.
So what is the lack of refs in the state? Is it the parents, or is it guys just got old and we didn't replenish?
It can be, you have to have tough skin. However,
I bet you do. I was up there that one night in Northridge. Oh, remember that one?
Yes, sir.
I've done it all in high school football. I see
Yes.
Rugby smiling at me. I was subpoenaed for a high school football game I broadcasted. I've been banned. I've been subpoenaed. I've been at all. So tell them, James. Tell 'em you're going to have tough skin.
Yeah, I have tough skin. But what I tell people, I said, I'm not perfect. A basketball player is not going to make every shot. A football player is not going to score a touchdown every play.
Yeah.
And a baseball player is not going to hit a base hit or a home run every play. But there's always the next one. You live for the next one. Don't charge it to my heart because I love the game. I love the kids, and it's all about them.
Okay. High school football. Best place for a game that you've refereed at. Most electric place that you've gone and reffed a game, and you were like, man, this is rocking. This reminds me of my college days.
Ooh, Center Grove and Westfield.
Oh, let's go.
Whoa, that wasn't none. Actually, you know what? That one or Ben Davis and Cathedral.
Woo. Oh, some big boys.
Oh my goodness, there was some hitting going on there, but in the 260,
Yeah, your
baby,
juice is going
there's
again.
nothing like, you ain't lying, got me excited. There's nothing like a North Side, South Side, a
Yes.
Snyder, Northrop, all those rival games, Wayne and South Side. Just the 260 is real.
And you've seen
That's it.
so much football. I feel like, everybody's contribution with football. We've got Traction AP. We've got
Yes.
just so many great youth coaches, great high
Yes.
school coaches. Don't you think the football up here has come so far the last 10 to 15 years,
Oh,
James?
absolutely. Absolutely. With I remember Jalen Smith's class, Metro-wise, they went down to Florida and blew through the competition.
Yeah.
And it was like nothing. And I hope the kids watching here in the 260 area know that you're always on someone's watch list.
Yes.
Always on someone's watch list.
I tell kids that all the time. Somebody's watching.
Yes. Go out there and give them a show every time you touch any ball or whatever. And women, volleyball, whatever it is. Go out here and show your talents. Do not waste it.
Now, James, we're out here at Spiece. Spiece is the title sponsor. Great people out here.
Yes.
Spiece is getting back on the map. What are some of your thoughts about Spiece, and what's your message to what's going on out here at Spiece? I think Spiece is going to get back to being a great beacon for the 260.
I'd like to see him do camps for adults to go get their officiating license.
We'd love for that to happen out here. What's your message about Spiece and the 260, but really the greatness that's going on at Spiece?
Oh, wow. I just took a tour through the facility. This facility is magnificent. This is a place where you can learn, have fun, be safe, and be educated on whatever craft you so choose. This facility is amazing. Done a great job.
Now we're going to go to our rapid fire round. So we got some questions, quick answers.
Uh-oh.
All right, here we go. When you're working out, what are you listening to music-wise?
Little John.
How about that, Dave? I got to give a shout-out to Sonar's wife, Crystal. It was her idea with the rapid-fire sessions. Fantastic idea.
Yes.
I would love Jamal's answers. So Little John with the music.
Yes.
And Dave?
Obviously, we know you're a very busy man. Are you a Netflix man?
I am. I love Netflix.
What are you watching?
Actually, the last thing I watched was Chris Rock.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Really?
I've heard that's pretty good.
That is. That is.
What's your favorite restaurant in the 260? Or give us a couple places that you love to eat at.
Oh, my goodness. Buffalo Wild Wings. Shout out to Jason Fabini over at the Black Canyon.
That's two right
the
there.
Black Canyon. I
That's
know.
two.
Man, that is the spot. Also, Granite City, Halls on Coliseum,
I ate there today.
and those. Any place you go here in the 260, I'm get you.
What's your favorite
get you feed.
Mexican?
Ooh, that's gonna. Agaves or Guadalupe's.
Wow,
Guadalupe.
Guadalupe's great answer.
Yes.
Okay. I don't know if you ever recharge because you have such a positive motor. But when the great James Payne recharges, where do you go or what do you do? What does that look like?
Well, honestly, what I do is the way I recharge is when I go home, I lay down, I do my Bible readings, and it kind of calms me. And then just mellow out. That's it. Just mellow out by just once I read my word, it puts me in a whole different state of mind, and I can recharge.
It's beautiful.
What is your favorite personal sports moment in your career?
Wow.
You can do all three sports if you want to.
Football. As an 8th grader, had the pleasure of playing varsity football in Kentucky. I couldn't letter, but I could play.
That's what I saw. I mean,
And,
you guys played 5 years of varsity
Yeah.
in high school.
And baseball as well.
Yeah.
In football, my greatest memory was we were playing our crosstown rival, and I'm an 8th grader, and I've heard cuss words, but I didn't hear cuss words like the team was calling those kind of cuss words. And Dwayne Gammons and Steve Relich were two scholar athletes that were amazing, said, "Don't worry about it, James Jr. They're not going to touch you." So I scored the winning point to beat them 20-19 as an 8th grader.
Wow.
And then in baseball, Coach Miller, God rest his soul, was like a father as well. He put me in with 2 outs, runner on 2nd and 3rd in the district championship game. And the pitcher was throwing 90 miles an hour. And by the grace of God, I just closed my eyes and hit it and got a double, won the game.
Wow. That's beautiful. You know what, James? We're going to wrap it up there, man. I want to say one more thing to you. I have a 10-year-old son. If there's one man that I would want my 10-year-old son to grow up and become as a role model, it would be you, brother.
Oh, Joe, it means
I think that's all the 260.
That's
That
the
means
whole
a lot.
260. And you know what? Don't give up on Congressman Payne.
Yes, sir.
We can raise some money. I'll put $100K behind you, baby. We
Yes,
can
sir.
raise some money. I'm telling you.
He's got it.
Congressman Payne. I love it. But you know what, brother? When your name's mentioned in the 260, it'll always be mentioned with pride, man.
Thank you.
Everybody at the 260 loves you and respects you.
And I love them.
And God bless you, man.
And God bless you,
Officer Payne, Dave. There you have it.
You and Dave are amazing, y'all.
Thank
Great.
you. Thank you.
Seriously,
And you know
thank y'all.
what? Again, I want to thank Spiece. I want to thank Jack Brumby.
Yes.
You know, Michelle, Troy, all the great people of Spiece, the ability to come out here and do this podcast, and really the ability to build Spiece back up. And I really want everybody in the 260 to come out and support Spiece.
Yes.
Because Spiece wants to recognize all of the great people of the 260. Dave, I want to thank you for putting these shows together, putting these guests together. It's been awesome to have.
Next week's guest,
Next week,
Roosevelt Barnes.
Roosevelt Barnes. We better hope
Ooh, that's
Purdue-
a heavy hitter,
That's
baby.
it. We better hope Purdue doesn't get put out of the tournament.
You know?
Rosie's coming. So, next week's Roosevelt Barnes. Thank you, Sonar. Ben with Multi-Format Network. Thank you, Denise, for pulling everything together.
Thank you, Denise.
And once again, we are the 260.